Hello, my name is Milton Little, and I'm the president of United Way of Greater Atlanta, and we are excited to be part of this program today. For the last 20 years, the United Way of Greater Atlanta has made a major thrust and made it a singular priority to help expand the quantity as well as the quantity of early education programs, not only across the 13 counties that we cover, but to do it in partnership with the state to ensure that this is a priority and possible for families, especially low-income families across the state of Georgia. But my single purpose today is really to introduce our next speaker, and that is Steve Barnett, who is the director of the National Institute for Early Education Research at Rutgers University. He is also co-editor of the International Journal of Child Care and Education Policy. His research interests include focusing on the effectiveness and economics of early education programs, including the well-known programs of the Perry Preschool and Abecedarian program. Please join me in welcoming Steve Barnett.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. A large body of research, literally hundreds of studies from economics, education, psychology, and other fields, including neuroscience over the last 50 years, confirms that education in the first 5 years of life, including pre-K at ages 3 and 4, can produce important and lasting benefits. Increased achievement test scores, decreased need for special education and grade repetition, decreases in behavior problems, delinquency, and crime, increased employment and earnings, increased self-sufficiency, decreased risky behavior like smoking and drug use, and even better health outcomes. All of these things decrease costs to government, decrease schooling and social services costs, criminal justice systems costs, health care costs. So high-quality pre-K not only benefits our young children in those early years, but benefits taxpayers and states in the long run, and that's why economists at places like the Federal Reserve, as well as educators, are now paying such great attention to preschool programs. Now, of course, not every preschool program will produce these kinds of gains. These gains are from high-quality programs. And that's why it's so important that Georgia focus on what needs to be done to actually get results. So what does Georgia need to do? Well, it needs to reach every child with a high-quality program, provide stable and adequate funding to make that happen, implement high-quality standards. And so if we look where Georgia stands now, Georgia does better than most states when it comes to quality, but it's not in the top tier for quality standards. With just a few small changes, such as decreasing class size, Georgia could move into that first tier of states and be a national leader like your neighbors North Carolina and Alabama. Moving on to enrollment, Georgia was once known as the leader in universal pre-K. That's no longer the case. 6 states and Washington, D.C. now surpass Georgia in enrollment. In Washington, D.C., enrollment's up over 90%. Florida is about 80%. Georgia can do better, and it's well positioned to do that. With modest increases each year over the next several years, Georgia could once again be the national leader in providing pre-K. So what does Georgia need to do to move forward? I'd like to make some suggestions about the steps Georgia could take that would make Georgia the national leader in early education. And the first one is to enroll 80% of children at age 4 and begin planning and developing programs to serve 3-year-olds. 4-year-olds, 4 is certainly not early enough to get all the benefits that we'd like. Second, make high-quality preschool education the rule. That is, raise standards, lower class sizes, ensure that every classroom is high quality. Third, commit to providing adequate funding year in and year out that's reliable. Funding ought to be based on children's needs and not on states' current revenue situation. All of these things could be done by the year 2020, right? So if you develop a plan, gradually implement it, by the year 2020, Georgia could once again be the national leader in pre-K. Georgia ought to do this, first, because the public recognizes its importance, as you've already heard. Politicians need to follow behind on the public lead on this. Georgia needs to do this for its children, and Georgia needs to do this for its future. Quality pre-K really is the beginning of equal opportunity and access to the American dream. Thank you.